Hey there, Chris McCarthy here with Brand Identified, and today I want to walk you through a 6-step prompt sequence that we've identified to help you build out your typography and color system strategy for your business. Now, this is actually one of the services that we offer over at Brand Identified under our brand and design, and then under our visual identity systems, we have brand typography and color systems. So you can head over there, take a look at some more info here. It actually gives you a free audit tool and a custom assessment to analyze your brand typography and your current color systems. But what I wanted to go over today is a 6-step prompt sequence that we've identified that creates a strategy for your business using BrandOptimizer.AI. Now, that is a custom GPT that accesses the brand identified knowledge base. So you're going to want to go over to BrandOptimizer.AI, go ahead and launch the custom GPT. That's going to open ChatGPT, but it's going to open it up into the Brand Optimizer custom GPT interface. This is the place that you're going to want to input these 6 prompts. So here are the 6 prompts. First off, we have a strategy prompt, then we have an execution prompt, then we have an audit and optimization prompt, then we have a template and tool prompt, then we have a role-based prompt, and then we have an integration prompt. So let's start first with the strategy prompt. This is help me build a complete strategy for brand typography and color systems that aligns with our brand and our business goals. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy that prompt. Then I'm going to paste it into the custom GPT right here in the Brand Optimizer. I'm going to send that prompt over, and it's going to access the brand identified knowledge base, and it's searching that right now. Then it's going to give you a brief overview here of what it's going to go ahead and do. And then it's going to start implementing that strategy for you in steps. So first off is step number 1, that is clarify your brand foundation. And then with all of these different prompts, we offer that audit tool that I talked about before, and then also an assessment tool. So you could link back off to the website and do the audit tool, which is a free purpose, mission, vision, and values audit tool here. And then there's also an assessment tool also to assess your value system. Step number 2 is identify brand personality and audience expectations. Step number 3 is build a cohesive brand color system. Step number 4 is to define your typography systems. Step number 5 is to codify everything into a brand guide. Step number 6 is to implement across all of your brand assets. And then also we've identified some additional tools down here. So there's a brand audit tool, and there's also a brand assessment tool that you can link off to. So that is prompt number 1. That's your strategy prompt. Now we're going to move into the execution prompt, which is give me a step-by-step execution plan to implement brand typography and color systems effectively in our business. So once again, I'm going to copy that, paste that into the custom GPT interface. So it's letting you know, here's your step-by-step execution plan. Step number 1 is to clarify your brand foundation. Once again, we've got some tools here. We've got an audit and an assessment tool. Step number 2 is to define your brand personality and your audience. Step number 3 is to design your color systems with your primary colors, your secondary colors, and your neutral colors. Make sure you're documenting your hex, RGB, CMYK, and your Pantone values for each of those. Step number 4 is to establish your typography system. Pick your primary fonts, your body fonts. Step number 5, build a visual identity guide. And then step number 6 is audit and update all your assets. Step number 7, train your team and your vendors. Step number 8 is to systematize for ongoing consistency. Step number 9, reinforce through execution. So that is the second prompt, which is the execution prompt. Now we're going to move on to the audit and the optimization prompt. This is where you're going to go ahead and prompt it to audit our current brand typography and color systems and recommend improvements or optimizations that we should make. So once again, paste that into there. And I want to emphasize, make sure you are using BrandOptimizer.AI, not just your kind of generic ChatGPT or OpenAI prompt platform that doesn't have access to this knowledge base. So make sure you are using BrandOptimizer.AI to add all these prompts in here. So what it's asking you here now is to go ahead and please provide this information. So if you have brand guidelines in PDF, make sure you upload those. Examples of current brand assets, for example, a website URL, social media graphics, marketing collateral, email templates, anything you've got, make sure you upload that into here. and then any known issues or feedback that you've received from your customers or stakeholders or your team members. So once you upload all of those materials, it's then going to continue to prompt you so you could build out your own audit and optimization in this step number 3 prompt. So the 4th prompt is, now that it's got all this information, is to input the prompt number 4, which is your template and your tool prompt. And this is going to provide a fill in the blank template or framework that I can use to create or improve brand typography and color systems. So we'll paste that 4th prompt into here. So now it's going to give you that fill in the blank template. So here is your brand typography and color systems template. Section number 1 is your brand personality alignment. And it's giving you this little template. Our brand should feel adjective 1, adjective 2, and adjective 3. And then section number 2, primary color palette. So you pick your colors, your hexadecimal, your RGB, your CMYK, secondary colors, neutral colors, contrast colors. Section number 3 is your typography system. So you're picking your main font names, your primary fonts, your secondary fonts, your accent fonts, and size hierarchy. Section number 4 is your brand application notes. So where you're going to use these and how you're going to use those. So for example, on your website, your slide decks, your social media, and your print collateral. And then you have your do's and don'ts of your consistency rules. Section number 5 is your brand guide integration. So link this all off into a PDF document. So then you can present that to your team or your contractors so they make sure everything is designed on brand. Next prompt up here is going to be the 5th prompt, which is our role-based prompt. And this is, how should a role, so we'll have to implement a role here or a title, approach brand typography and color systems in a growing business. So we're going to copy that. We're going to add this prompt into here, and then we're going to change off, and I'm just going to use marketing manager as the role, but you input your role in here. And then you could do this for multiple different titles and multiple different roles throughout your organization, and it's going to give you different steps based on that role. So this is for a marketing manager, and this is the role-based prompt. So first off, strategic role of a marketing manager. Core objective is to reinforce the brand consistency. Step number 2 is to support multi-channel alignment. Step number 3 is to drive conversions through clarity. Now we have execution priorities for that marketing manager. Once again, it's going to link you back off to that template that was provided above. Create your centralized visual assets, train and enforce the usage across your team. Audit it regularly for, consistency and performance. Use tools to support that consistency. And then you have a final checklist for the marketing manager. So do you have your brand guide? Do you have your fonts licensed? Have you defined your hexadecimal, RGB, CMY colors? Do you have a template library? Have you trained your team? And are you doing quarterly audits on this system? So that leads us to our 6th and our final prompt. And this is the integration prompt. And we're going to prompt that with, how does brand typography and color systems connect with or support other areas like marketing, sales, and operations? So this is going to take all the information that we've defined so far, and it's going to give you an integration process. Now, keep in mind, we're going to have to actually, once you input each of these prompts, you're going to have to continue to prompt it to further build out that strategy before you actually get to the integration part of this prompt. But I'm just running down through each of the individual prompts right now, but you're going to have to put in a little bit more prompts and do some of those audits and do some of those assessments that it's linking off to really define it down. So starting here with this final prompt, the integration. So in marketing, we want to make sure that it supports everything, your clarity and communication, faster brand recall, high click-through rates, cross-channel unity. This is how you're going to integrate it into your sales cycle. This is how you're going to integrate it into your operations. This is how you're going to integrate it into your leadership and culture. And then it gives you a nice little summary table here for your marketing, your sales, your operation, and your leadership, the benefits and the risks of a weak system. And then it gives you a final prompt here to continue on with this prompt sequence. But these are the 6 prompts that you can kind of start with. Go down through each of these, take all the audits, take all the assessments that it's requesting on here, and build out your own brand typography and color systems using this 6 prompt sequence and the power of BrandOptimizer.AI.